Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the AI Frontiers series, a global collaboration between Reuters Plus and KPMG. I'm your host, Nadira Tudor, and today we'll be exploring the transformative impact of AI in the healthcare sector. Healthcare organisations are grappling with significant challenges in their AI adoption journey, from data quality and regulatory compliance to building trust among clinicians and scaling pilot programmes. This also signals a time of remarkable opportunities for patients, doctors, organisations and our healthcare systems. To discuss further, I'm delighted to be joined by industry leaders from KPMG, Zuyderland Medical Centre and NHS England. Let's start our discussion in London with Beccy Fenton, UK Head of Infrastructure, Government and Healthcare at KPMG UK. Beccy, many thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Nadira.
Now, Beccy, you've been working closely with healthcare organisations across the UK as they navigate their AI transformation journeys. KPMG's Intelligent Healthcare Report shows that while sector leaders are allocating more than 10% of their tech budget to AI capabilities, many remain cautious about making such major investments. What's driving this hesitation, and how should organisations be thinking about their investment strategies?
Yeah, thank you. Well, as an ex-CFO in the NHS, I can really understand where this caution is coming from. Healthcare is a very complex business with many stakeholders with different needs. You've got fragmented silo services, and you've also got the need, obviously, to put patient safety at the heart of everything you do. Technology transformation in the past has also been really difficult. I've seen a number of transformation programs looking to realise the benefits of technology that have frankly failed. And now, in addition to that kind of history, you've also got the surge in AI tech startups now coming to the market. So in addition to the big tech players such as Microsoft and Oracle, you've got a plethora of new AI solutions being pushed at the healthcare market. It's really difficult as a leader in healthcare to know which of those are actually going to help solve your problems. The developers might love them, the funders might love them, but actually, will the clinicians and the staff in your organisation love them? So I can really understand where some of this caution's coming from. I think people are also looking to the return on that investment that they're going to get. So it's really important that the money that's invested in technology deliver those benefits. So I think people are watching and looking to see who's going to do this first and what lessons they can learn from.
Given healthcare's traditionally siloed nature, what practical steps can leaders take to enable cross-functional collaboration, for example, and break down barriers for AI implementation?
Yeah, so if you're a patient, a lot of patient frustrations are born out of the fact that services are often fragmented in silos. So you bounce around from primary care to a hospital to an outpatient clinic to a diagnostic centre. And in transforming healthcare and using technology and AI, that's the outcome that we've really got to improve. That will drive up improved patient experience, but improved outcomes, earlier diagnosis, better care, and also better productivity. So we need to start to look across those silos. So thinking about patient pathways that go across and thinking about the value stream across those patient pathways. Starting to work with multidisciplinary teams, so including people from primary care, social care, community, and those clinicians and staff that work in the hospitals to redesign the pathways, putting the patient experience at the centre of it, and then also thinking about some of the enablers. So data is also fragmented and in silos. We've got to integrate data by creating interoperability and data platforms that will enable the AI to pull that data in an effective and an intelligent way.
Now, we're seeing healthcare organisations struggle with scaling beyond pilots. From your experience, what separates the successful adopters from those stuck in experimentation mode?
We look at some of the highest performing healthcare systems from across the world, and we've unpacked those to look at the things that they've done successfully to really drive improved outcomes and higher productivity and lower costs. And one of the things that is common across all of them is their ability to scale using digital transformation. So, what they are doing though is picking one or two things early on to try, picking some use cases where they're really clear about the problem statement and the value and the outcomes that they're looking to achieve, and using that really to kind of test what will work and also what the key enablers and digital infrastructure is that's needed to enable the next one or two. So we do see people starting small, getting some quick wins and then starting to build and cascade from there.
If we look at the current landscape, where do you see the biggest opportunities for new technology to deliver immediate value in healthcare organisations?
It's absolutely got to be in workforce. And what I mean by that is not replacing workforce in healthcare, it's augmenting workforce and giving them the tools and the technology that helps them be much more efficient and frankly enjoy work more in their day-to-day experiences.
That's really interesting, Beccy. Thanks for setting the scene on where the healthcare sector currently stands. Now I'd like to go over to the Netherlands to speak to someone implementing these strategies on the ground. Dr. Esther Talboom is a senior leader from Zuyderland Medical Center. Hello Esther, many thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation.
As an operational leader at a major medical center, you're seeing the impact of AI firsthand. Tell us about Zuyderland's AI journey and where the real value has been delivered in your organization.
Let me tell you a little bit more about Zuyderland first. Zuyderland is a large healthcare organization in the south of the Netherlands with elderly care, several hospitals and mental health care. And we are facing a huge care gap, which means that in our region we have an aging population with a lot of elderly people, which means a high demand on healthcare. At the same time, we have a shortage on personal staff, which is a global and a European problem, but in our region is it much more serious and a much more bigger challenge than anywhere else, which means that we have an urgency to think about our healthcare processes, to think about our efficiency and how AI can support us with that. So our AI journey started already several years ago by building a good digital infrastructure, and we already started with some AI tools in order to support us in our daily workflow.
In healthcare, the regulatory landscape is complex and multifaceted. How is your organisation balancing AI innovation with regulatory compliance to ensure clinical safety, ethical use and protection of patient data?
Well, in order to use and implement AI in a thorough manner, we work with multidisciplinary teams, which means that in our teams we have data scientists, AI experts, legal experts, information security experts, doctors, nurses, and we really like to co-create, which means that we always start with multidisciplinary teams thinking about what do we need in our daily healthcare processes. We start with the employees on the floor. We ask our patients, what do you need? And then all the experts give their insights, which makes it a thorough way of working.
Concerns about job displacement and trust in AI-driven decisions are as apparent among healthcare professionals as they are in virtually every other sector. How has Zuyderland fostered confidence in these tools amongst its clinicians?
It starts with human beings, not with technology. So which means, for instance, that we have organized masterclasses in co-creation with KPMG and with Microsoft, where we invited our employees to join masterclasses in their own time, not in their working time, to educate them about AI, to explain to them what can AI do for you in your daily work. And our employees were really curious. There were a lot of people, several hundreds of them, who came to these masterclasses. And after we gave them some education about AI, we asked them, where do you think AI can support you in your daily process? And we had a lot of concrete ideas. And now we started working with those ideas from the crowd.
Looking ahead, there's talk of intelligent healthcare organisations in which AI has been seamlessly integrated across all operations. How do you see AI's role evolving when it comes to transforming patient care?
In intelligent healthcare organizations, AI or technology and human beings collaborate seamlessly. AI should support the professionals, the human beings working in healthcare. AI cannot save healthcare, but it can support healthcare. For instance, with AI, we can plan our capacity in a much better way than we do right now. And with AI, we can also predict diseases, and we can automatically make lifestyle advices for patients. So it can support us in our healthcare processes in order to be more efficient and more effective. When we do that in an intelligent way, we can make healthcare much better.
Esther, thank you for your time and insights from the front line of healthcare. It will be really interesting to see how the sector evolves in the years ahead.
You're welcome.
Now I'd like to go to London and bring in Ming Tang, NHS England's Chief Digital and Information Officer and Chief Data and Analytics Officer. Ming is leading the digital and AI transformation of one of the world's largest healthcare systems. Hello, Ming.
Hi Nadira, lovely to meet you.
Now, we've heard from Beccy about investment challenges in the sector and also from Esther on frontline implementation. The UK government's 10-year plan sets out the ambition to make the NHS the most AI-enabled health system in the world. How are you approaching this transformation?
I guess it's really important that we get the basics right in this journey. It is a journey, and really, making sure that we have the data in a good place. The configuration of that data quality is improving, and that we've got the right data platforms, the cybersecurity to maintain public trust, making sure that we're experimenting on AI and learning as we go along. So it's not one big leap to the end state, it's a number of iterative stages. And each stage we're actually trying to improve what we know and how we go about that.
Thinking about those stages then, the plan emphasises a number of digital priorities. How are these working together to enable AI at scale across the NHS?
Yeah, so in a way it's all about making sure we've got the data, the infrastructure, the cybersecurity correct, and also making sure the use cases are really pertinent for both the public in terms of how they access those services in the NHS, making it easier for them to not have to repeat their story, making sure that all their data is in one place so that we can actually apply AI on top, which then helps the clinicians really get to the most effective summary of the information they need in order to, in that consultation, using things like ambient voice technology to take some of the burden away from the frontline clinicians, and then really all of that information that is then available for improvement, making sure that we drive the pathways in a really clinical way, and we bring the public with us.
You mentioned the administrative burden. How is AI affecting clinicians on the ground, for example? And how are you ensuring they have the skills to deal with the tech when it comes?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that, certain things like ambient voice technology is really taken off. The clinicians love it, it's intuitive to them, but what it also helps us with is making sure that information goes into the clinical records more accurately, which then will improve data quality and also allows us to have more real-time information to drive assistive technology on top of that. So looking at some of the agents, how we use that so that we learn from how they want to work, how the technology can support them, the skill sets in both how we train people to use AI safely, some of the competencies that we'll need in the future from a kind of data and digital competency of skills is really important, and the workforce is really important in that. And then driving that training so that they learn as multidisciplinary teams together.
And in terms of agents, where do you think these autonomous technologies are going to have the biggest impact within the NHS and also across the health sector more generally?
Yeah, so I think about it in three ways, really. The first one is, there's lots of things in the back office that would benefit from agents and kind of AI technology. Just automating a lot of the of the systems, taking some of those administrative tasks away, like ambient voice, or really doing summarisation. That then allows clinicians time to focus on their clinical efforts, and they are really important things to do to free up time. The second part of that is really when we're really looking at how do we look at an end-to-end pathway, how do we optimise that pathway. We've done some work with process mining that shows us, the way that patients bounce from one service to another is not ideal. So again, using assistive AI, both from patients, allowing them to understand their treatment pathway, that gives them more information so that they can feel more secure that their treatment's being handled properly. But also for our staff, making sure that, things like, if you need an appointment and you need to do a scan or something, that all that information comes back as soon as possible, and those bookings are done more automatically. So optimising the end-to-end journeys is a good thing that we will need to build on and learn from. Then the last one, I guess, is a bit more futuristic and probably towards the end of the 10-year plan rather than the beginning, is really personalised care, making sure that we make the most of the genomics information, the investment that the government's made in genomics, the heel pricks on babies, the whole genome sequences will have markers, so that in the future we can then offer the best medicines to patients based on their genomic profile. We can do screening, has advances in technology and advances in treatment, and that's all really making sure that we maximise the use of the information we collect about individuals, so that we can be much more preventive in the care that we're providing them.
Ming, that's great. Thank you for sharing NHS England's strategic perspective on AI transformation. The scale of ambition is remarkable, and it's clear that getting the foundations right will be critical to success. Now, going back to the Netherlands, I'd like to welcome Hylke Kingma, a digital health partner with KPMG. Hello, Hylke. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Madeira. Thank you.
Now, AI represents a pivotal moment for the healthcare sector, but many organisations seem to be struggling to move beyond pilot. What do you see as the main challenges to implementing these new tools at scale?
Yes. Firstly, I think it's also the data availability. Because we see still in healthcare that data is being siloed in systems. And sometimes we think it's difficult to bring data from one organization to another, but also data internally. So from one department to another, or one system to another, is sometimes struggling. And of course, AI, they need data to be more effective, to train AI models on your local data, which is very important. And therefore, you need data availability. So that's still a struggle. I think secondly is also trust. Trust in the AI models. It needs to be transparent, needs to be clear how different decisions are being made and how output is being generated. And also, for example, trust could be strengthened by also regulations. So that's, I think, also an important aspect. It can be different in different regions. For example, in the US and in Europe, it's different. In Europe, the European Commission is really steering on a data strategy for Europe and also for healthcare. So the Data Act and AI Act and all other legislations are quite important to effectively and safely, of course, also implement AI in healthcare. And maybe last, which is also an important one, because AI does not come cheap in healthcare, is also the return on investment. To really understand what the value of AI is in relation to costs and where to effectively also put it into practice, and of course where not. And AI is really supporting now already also in healthcare to lower the burden, the administrative burden also for healthcare professionals. And we need to remember, so the currency in healthcare is time, and AI can really help us to work more effectively and to make better use of time of all healthcare professionals.
There is a lot to navigate, and data management seems to be at the heart of many of today's strategies. How are the leading healthcare organisations successfully tackling issues around data quality?
Well, equality and governance and availability. It's also who is the data owner. So you need to have your data governance in place. And also we see that the successful organizations in healthcare are now also investing in their infrastructure, for example. Also creating data platforms, so internal data availability, and also make sure that also external data is being made available for deploying AI. Secondly is also training staff, of course, to really make sure that everybody is ready to use it. Last step, so I already talked about technology and infrastructure. We see also that sometimes the on-premise systems, well, they cannot cope with the AI models. They cannot embed it. So we see also successful organizations moving towards cloud to really also use cloud technology together with their data platform and really get all value out of AI.
Let's expand on agentic AI and how the tech is used to make autonomous decisions for specific processes. How do you expect this to reshape care delivery, and what governance will be needed?
Yeah, so agentic AI is really promising also for healthcare for the future. And you said autonomous decision making, so that could be also quite scary. So we need to have really good understanding on how the AI model works, to be able to test it also on our local data, to be aware of any bias that there could be, to make sure we can also make the mitigating measures for that. To have the right safeguards also in place, which is now sometimes also embedded in the AI platforms that are now becoming available. But agentic AI is really going to be changing healthcare for the good. You see that the first step is to get an agent in place for every nurse, for every doctor, for every patient even. But the next phase is also to create what we call more of the human-led agent workforce also for healthcare, to also orchestrate different AI models. In healthcare we have textual data, which is of course very important, but not as what we also have in pathology, digital pathology, and also radiology, and also all the other types of data. And what you now see is that our different models are being created on top of all those different data types. So it's multimodal data platforms with agentic AI orchestrating all these different AI models.
Thank you, Hylke. These are interesting times for sure, and in a sector where we're all personally invested in companies getting it right. And thanks to all my guests today, Beccy, Hylke, Esther and Ming Tang. I do hope you've enjoyed our exploration into AI's role in transforming the healthcare sector. Join us next time for another deep dive into how AI is changing tomorrow's business landscape.